Canterbury Swim School, Jennifer Jones and Huia Mika. Welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, Council, and good evening, Mayor. We're the owners of Canterbury Swim School, a private pool which is also open to the public, and it's in the Hornby Oldhurst area, operating since 2013. We'd like to start by saying that water safety is an important issue, and we welcome the Council's desire to address it. We've got several concerns regarding the draft, however. Firstly, the free swimming lessons for those who find costs a barrier. How will Council determine who these people are? Secondly, we find the quoted figure of the drop in revenue of $50,000 to be quite extraordinary. The numbers of Council Learn to Swim customers is not provided, so we've had to make a best guess estimate based on our own industry knowledge. Assuming that 1,000 children per week are at each of Council's 3 main pools, this would generate $1.536 million in revenue. So even if the attendance numbers are incorrect, Council charges $12.80 per lesson, meaning if the $50,000 loss is accurate, it equates to just 98 children per term or 4,000 lessons annually. So the media hype surrounding this aspect of the draft proposal appears to us to be something of a PR stunt, which will benefit very few children annually. If this figure, which has been widely circulated in the media, is indeed misleading or inaccurate, then the submission process would have to recommence with the correct figures being published. Thirdly, Christchurch City Council is the largest supplier of Learn to Swim lessons in the city. It has a huge market share and advantage. If implemented, this process would see Council establishing itself with an unfair commercial advantage over other service providers. Under this proposal, Council has said it would levy ratepayers. Rates are not an avenue available to other businesses, so it would create an unequal playing field with competitors who've got no opportunity or power to match that. Private providers, we've invested substantial funds into our operations. We provide a valuable service to the local community, employ significant numbers of staff, and our livelihoods would be at risk. We're ratepayers too, and would be twice penalised under this proposal. That is, we'd be paying rates towards funding the scheme, and again by being placed at a commercially unfair disadvantage by it. The proposal, we think, contravenes the Commerce Act, which states large businesses cannot take advantage of their market power to prevent others from competing effectively. The Act also states businesses cannot enter into contracts that have an effect of substantially lessening competition in the market. In an opinion piece on the press on April the 11th, Mike Yardley refers to the plethora of non-council run pools, which includes, apart from ourselves, Dalton's, Aquagym, Mini Swim, Macmillan's, Bumblebees, Kings and Wharanui, and asks the question, is the council trying to drive them out of business? Our understanding is that Council's current aquatic facilities combined annual operating losses cost the ratepayer $8.57 million. Council's plans to build the new Brighton saltwater pools, a Hornby pool, a Linwood pool, the new QE2 pool, come at a cost of $99.1 million. On top of this is the mammoth cost of the Metro Sports facility. These are huge costs, and why would Council be looking to run at an even greater loss with this draft proposal? As business owners, we have to ask, where's the fiscal responsibility? The question also needs to be asked, what is Council trying to achieve with this proposal and its future proposed projects? The stated aims seem to be in 2 parts. One, that Council wants to make its recreation facilities more accessible, and 2, to improve access to those who find costs a barrier. The first would indicate that Council might not be satisfied with its current level of patronage, and given the plans to build all these new facilities, one would naturally be led to the assumption that the being built supposedly to meet an increasing demand as the existing facilities are full to bursting. But if the current facilities are running at a loss, surely this can't be the case. If the numbers are insufficient, why is Council contemplating building more or running programs guaranteed to run at a loss? Based on the available information, the draft proposal plans to lose a further $926,500 on top of its already $8.57 million. So where is the logic in this? If, however, the true goal is the second part, and that's to encourage lower income Christchurch ratepayers to learn to swim, then it should be of no consequence where such services are accessed. There's no reason why private providers couldn't be included and allow the ratepayers' choice. This may also be a way to overcome any Commerce Act issues, as it would offer a level playing field to all providers. The broadening would alleviate any concerns of potential damage to businesses and the livelihoods of swim school owners, employees, contractors, suppliers, and those providing other services to the industry. Lastly, if Council is really serious about addressing water safety, offering free swim entry and $2 family days really won't cut it. We've run free swim and discount days ourselves, and our experience is that they just are simply playtime. There's no water safety message or teaching of skills involved, but we believe there's some really good alternatives. As already suggested, Council could include private pool providers in the same manner as it provides for itself, subsidise them and thus reach more children. However, this remains a scattergun approach, as is still the question is how to target those genuinely needing assistance with the cost of lessons and wanting to learn to swim, as opposed to those that are just looking for a freebie simply because they can and without any desire to learn to swim. We believe that the Council has a viable solution already in place with the Kiwi Sport program. The Kiwi Sport program is a funding program which subsidises school lessons based on the distance of local primary schools from their nearest service provider. The scheme is run by Water Safety New Zealand in conjunction with a number of other funding partners, including Council, and is administered local by Council's Learn to Swim arm. Currently, this program targets Decile 1 to 6 schools and students in years 3 to 6. Students receive funding between $12 and $36 for a block of 10 lessons. Council's budget of $50,000 would be better spent by expanding this program to include years 1 to 8. Targeting the lower decile schools is the most obvious way to assist children genuinely in need. Providers charge a bulk rate to schools of less than half the cost of normal lessons, so it would benefit more than twice as many children as the current draft proposal. Council would then be addressing the huge disparity in swimming ability and water confidence that experience shows us exists right across the board between the higher and the lower decile schools. We would strongly recommend that Council consider the merits of expanding the Kiwi Sport program, and that we've given you a handout there. The latest information that's been provided by Council is here for you to read. Some of the dates in the school years have had to be altered to reflect the current funding. It was last handed out to us in 2015, so I've done a bit of a twink out and put 2017. So thank you.
Thank you. That's incredibly helpful. I have to say that I hadn't realised that we were funding Kiwi Sport already before your submission, so it's an incredibly helpful submission, so thank you for that. Sarah?
Thank you, and I think Dallas from St Anne's mentioned that was the funding that they get for the two-week blocks.
That's right.
So were you here for Dallas's submission earlier?
No,
from St Anne's School? So out of the 110 students that they have, they only have 3 who have swimming lessons externally currently, and of their Year 7 and 8 students, I think he said about a third had to wear life jackets when they went on a school camp and those kind of things. So I don't think that having extra access for those children would be in competition to you, because they currently can't access sort of your services anyway. But I was just wondering if there was a way, if you could think of a way that your services or others in the area could be provided for longer than those 2 weeks, and whether there's capacity in those private providers at the moment for doing that kind of thing. My impression so far of the ones in the Linwood area is that they are sort of almost at capacity for their swimming lessons. So
we're not at capacity. We do have some schools that come to us for more than the fortnight blocks of swimming lessons, and that's up to the schools. Some of them, they do get the Kiwi Sport funding, the lower decile schools do, and then some they do other funding themselves, and they may choose to come for more than one block of 10 lessons.
yeah, I think Dallas was saying that it costs them $300 a day just to get the bus, plus the extra time that's taken out of the school's learning, the children's learning, because it takes a half day each lesson to bus them there, wait, do the lesson, then bus back.
Well, the Kiwi Sport funding, it works on, like we said, on their nearest service provider. So if, and they can choose whether that's a council-run facility or a private facility, and if they choose to go past the nearest service provider to another facility because they may prefer it, then they still only get the funding to their nearest service provider. I mean, we have a school that walks across the road to us, and they get $12 a child for the block of lessons just for walking across the road. And so others do have to hire the buses, and that is the expense.
Yeah. Do you also see the benefit in having, so, you know, I could, you know, go on for a while.
I know you could.
Yeah.
But we've come to the end.
It's the benefit. One last question. Just one last little bit.
One. Go on.
So,
why am I soft on you? I know.
Other people have gone over 10 minutes.
No. Yanni's going to give me a slap down if I let you ask.
That's true. Can I, Yanni? Yeah. Excellent.
That doesn't mean I'm going to.
The benefit in that learning to get used to water and be familiar with water prior to swimming lessons or the formal sort of water safety stuff. Is there a benefit in that as well? The recreational type swimming and the being familiar with it and practicing your skills as you're learning?
Well, absolutely, because children all learn at a different rate, and you can't teach someone to learn to swim that's not ready to learn to swim. And so some of the children that we do get that coming in, they're not ready to learn to swim. So we have to do that in other ways to introduce them to that. So there is some benefit in that.
Yeah. What council has been kind of humming about over here is that you provided some additional information in your oral submission than what you provided in your written. And would it be possible to email what you have said through to the Secretariat so that we could get a copy of it into our submissions pack?
Yep, of course.
Would that be okay? Yep, that would be very helpful. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
If that's easier, just leave a hard copy here and we can get it put into the hub, because we're paperless, you know. Thank you.
Well, I can email it to you.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.